Well, here is my chapter about nature and evolution. 1687. An Englishman came up with the idea that the planets turn around the sun because of universal natural laws. If something moves, it stays moving in the same direction forever, except when there is a force is applied. Um, a force which exists is that of gravity. The weight and the distance determine of a planet determine the gravity. 1735. A man in a small town in Sweden came up with the thought that all plants and animals are um, belonging to families. God had shaped him that way, and he was able to bring order so that everybody can understand. 1754, a Scottish man wrote that we should better um, let determine observable things like feelings and um, emotions in our life instead of our brain that follows a certain logic. 1778, a Frenchman comes to the conclusion that the weight remains unchanged after a chemical reaction. He um, he manages to split air into oxygen and nitrogen, and water into water, hydrogen and oxygen. During the French Revolution, they have decapitated this genius to afterwards excuse himself with his widow. He was the father of modern chemistry. 1790, a Scotchman came up with the idea that the landscape that we see is the result of a very long evolution and that it is still evolving further. At the time, it was generally accepted that the landscape had suddenly come to existence and would always stay the same. 1800, an Italian makes a battery, and with that, humans discovered electricity. 1805, a Prussian had traveled to America and had discovered differences in air pressure. He drew isobars on maps, and so he could explain wind. He noticed the temperature to be different uh, in the degree that one gets closer or further away from the equator, and in relation to the height above sea level that one finds himself. The, so the temperature is different, and also that the plants adapt to the circumstances, the local climate. He understood how rain could form. 1828, a German manages to calculate the distance to a star thanks to a very good telescope as large as a building. If light came to here from so far, he had to assume that stars are suns. Our universe became suddenly a lot larger. 1859, an Englishman publishes a book about the origin of species. It is evolution that is at the basis of the different species, and it is not because of God who did shape every species. 1861, and then suddenly it was there, Art Nouveau. An Englishman produced furniture and wallpaper in a style which wanted to be a total revolution with everything which was antique art. 1890, a German veterinary doctor uh, discovered in his microscope that certain bacteria are only present when there is a disease. 1893, an architect in Brussels builds a house in Art Nouveau style. 1924, in Los Angeles, somebody sees other galaxies in the new largest telescope in the world. 1927, there is a discovery that the universe is expanding, and so that there might have been a beginning, and later somebody will call this the Big Bang. Galileo Galilei, he found out a telescope. Well, with that, he could see well, I'm not sure he found it out. It was Newton who invented the mirror telescope, which they still make today. They haven't got anything better, because with a mirror, the view is finer than with lenses. With lenses, there is a distortion of the light because of the prisma effect at the borders of the lens. But so I might rephrase that a bit, because at the time I was writing this, I didn't know, and I was more thinking like Galileo invented the thing, but I'm not sure about that anymore. But anyway, he could magnify the sky, the stars, the planets, the moon 30 times. Well, according to science at the time, the surface of the moon was bald, but he saw it was full of craters. And according to science in his time, heavier objects would fall faster than lighter objects. So Galilei took two balls of exactly the same size and dropped them from the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And the one ball was of metal, and the other ball, or a cannonball or something, and the other was of wood. And Galilei, he said that both balls ended up on the ground exactly at the same moment. Well, we think about him as the man who said that the earth went around the sun. In his time, since Aristotle, the opinion was that the earth is a ball, but everything falls towards this ball, and this earth ball is the center of the universe. The sun, the planets, and the stars, they are of infinite and eternal nature, and well, there are no principles of distance and time, and so on and so on. And well, these very old truths go back to Zoroastrianism, and they have been in the books of Aristotle. And well, in this time of Galilei, more and more people see they are not true. With the universal laws of Newton, a new physics or natural science emerges around 1687. He's taught that every object remains moving in the same direction and speed until a force is applied, is what engineers apply today daily. And For planets, Newton came with the concept of attraction depending on weight and distance. That was a totally different concept than that of Aristotle, in which the Earth attracted everything and the Earth therefore was the center of the universe. Newton also has studied light, and with a prism he could split all the colors of the rainbow. He could split the light into all the colors of the rainbow. Well, I even changed that text already a bit. In 1745, 54, David Hume said we must stop to connect everything with logic and our brains. We must do more physical experiences and observations. We should let behind our wisdom um, and let ourselves go and trust our feelings and our emotions. And it is here he asks to leave behind the eternal, the infinite, the wisdom, the truth, the good, and to consider that no longer um, the, well, the of our thinking. So to consider it well, the foundation of our thinking. Well, and when I think about that, yeah, if you love very, very much and you think she is the one, it's like you believe God is the one. So if you keep believing, it's not something about, well, observation. It has nothing to do with feelings and emotion. It is about, yeah, a guideline towards a certain person, um, to consider it a truth, and it's a destiny. It's yeah, a destiny. Yeah. If a person is your destiny, I mean, yeah, you love him. So, okay, in Königsberg in Prussia, it was Immanuel Kant in 1781, after reading the work of Newton, came up with the opinion that the proof of God, as it existed at the time and was generally accepted by all scientists, was not that rock solid and to be trusted blindly. So he started to doubt on the existence of God. We see that for the first time since Zoroastrianism. Well, that's very old. Uh, and he throws away the whole cosmology of Zoroastrianism, and with that, Plato and Aristotle, he throws it all overboard, but that brings a problem to philosophy of morality. But Kant believes in moral goodness of a person. In fact, Kant, well, eh, well, Kant probably doesn't know about Bronze Age and Zoroastrianism, but at the time of Kant, Europeans, well, they had no active knowledge of Zoroastrianism. However, Kant believes in a moral person. It is possible, but it is not written in the thoughts of Kant that the human as a species has emerged because we have so much empathy, altruism, gratitude, uh, very profound conversations, big culture, And because of all of that, we are the human species. It is possible because that we want to talk to each other, we want to understand each other, and we want to feel how other persons feel, empathy, a good conversation, sharing of things, sharing of our lives, loving. Um, well, we have done that for hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of years. People would be more than 1 million years ago started cooking and eating together. Um, well, it's 15 minutes.